Ladies and gentlemen, what are we going to talk about? The global wholesale telco industry in the rapidly evolving digital transformation. Hell yes, era. We're going to start with a quick introduction of my experts next to me on the left and on the right. A quick intro, and then we'll go into two very interesting presentations, and afterwards a quick discussion about the topic. So I hope you stay with us, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. So to start off, Sylvia, over to you. You're the first one to introduce yourself.
Thank you, real gentlemen. Thank you, everyone. I'm Silvia Ossia. I'm the Director of Strategic Partnerships for IDT Global. I'm here to represent IDT Global and IDT Corporation, which is a fintech company publicly traded in the New York Exchange stock market. We are globally recognized as a communication and payments provider through our family of brands, which cover the whole wide range of products from, Zendit with the eSIMs, money transfers, top-ups, UCAS, CPAS, where we do AI, and...
Do you also have the ERICAS or not?
Erica, we see after this.
Okay, bye-bye.
And that's me. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mohammed Enver. I'm from Du in the UAE. We're a regional carrier, and I sit within the international wholesale department, and I head up the product and strategy function in the department.
Perfect. Thank you. Paul.
Hi there. My name's Paul Palmer. I work for Hold Systems, a Swedish company. I'm responsible for sales and marketing. We do A2P messaging, monetization and security. And my background is I've been in telco for about 35 years, but in A2P messaging about 9 months. Previously in cybersecurity as well. Thank you.
Good to have you back on my stage, Paul. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
And 35, I did 32, so I'm not the dinosaur here in the house. Finally, it's so good. Thank you so much. Arjun?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you. I'm Arjun. I'm from SUBEX. I manage the global pre-sales and consulting practice there. So SUBEX is actually a telecom AI company. So we have solutions ranging from wholesale billing, revenue assurance, business assurance, fraud management, and much more. And that is something that I'll be talking about in my keynote address as well. But thank you for everyone, and thanks.
Okay, good to have you. And David, you will introduce yourself if the people who do not know you yet. So actually, the floor is yours.
Bang on. Thank you very much.
Bang on.
Thank you. Well, it's good to see everybody here. A privilege to be participating in another carrier community event. If you could pop my slides up, please. There we are. They're there. What I'd like to talk about is keeping relevant in a very changing world. From a wholesale carrier perspective, the landscape is changing fast. There you are. My name's David Duffer, and I'm from Simwood. Simwood are a UK and US-based wholesale carrier, but importantly, not only are we straight talking and forward thinking, but you see that bottom line there, we're software defined, a software defined carrier. And that's something to hold on to because it's a key differentiator. Now, in the world that's changing all of the time around us, in the global carrier space, I think that there are two words, and if we keep hold of those two words, and of course, importantly, take action on these two words, then we find that we are able to stay relevant. And those two words are simply functionality and connectivity. Functionality because, as we previously discussed at other carrier events, the money from minutes, the revenue from minutes that we all used to transit is going downwards. And so from a functionality point of view, what we need is value-added services to help that revenue go back up. So when I talk about functionality, I'm talking about value-added services in the carrier space that we can create and deliver, and so there are value to our clients that they can resell to their end users. And then there's connectivity. Now, for many years, of course, we've lived with the PSTN, the Public Switch Telephone Network. We've had voice over IP in the form of, well, H323 originally, and then SIP as the dominant protocol. And we're kind of getting augmented now with these over-the-top services that we all use. Now, fairly small audience survey, but how many people are using WhatsApp? A good number of people on the WhatsApp front, yes. Pretty much most people are using WhatsApp. There's about getting on for 3 billion users on WhatsApp, and I'm going to come back to that in a moment. So functionality and connectivity is where it's at. And when I talk about functionality, there's lots of different things. Another little audience survey. Has anybody ever heard of VCons? Well, you're going to hear about it here first. VCon stands for Virtualized Conversation. It's like a PDF of a phone call or a V-card of a phone call. So we're all used to call data records, aren't we, in the telco world? We've got a record of who called who and when and how long it took. But a VCon can contain a call recording, a transcription of the call, an AI sentiment analysis. It can contain anything you want about the call. But here's the thing. It's a public format, a global format that can be shared amongst authorized users. And so what that does is it takes conversations and turns them into robot food for AI systems so that you can then base decisions on the big data you have from all of these different conversations. That's VCons. Then we've got integrations with other systems. We can do calendar integrations and various other things. And then the big one down in the bottom there is conversational AI. And as a carrier, Simwood has developed an incredible conversational AI, which I demonstrated at a previous carrier community event in Berlin. No, it featured Eric for last one, but we've got a demo this time that's not going to feature Eric. Okay, we're back. Good, I'm glad that we're back. So that's the functionality piece. We've got to find value-added services that we can sell. Then the connectivity. This is where things are getting very interesting because we're no longer just using the PSTN or SIP. We're using, as we established, WhatsApp. We're using Microsoft Teams in the enterprise. We might be using Zoom, all of these different things for communication. And so when we think about connectivity, we've got to have a bigger picture in mind. And so at Simwood, we strive to connect to these newer services so that we can give people the option of connecting. Now, when you think about the general way that telecoms services are built, you find that people buy boxes. So if you're a telco and you want to do call recording, you might buy a call recording solution. And then you might want Microsoft Teams integration. So you might want another box. The trouble is with all of these boxes, and this is kind of the legacy methodology, if you like, all of these boxes have costs associated with them, with the upkeep of the hardware, with the licensing. They've probably all got different APIs which you're trying to tie together. And so as you buy all these boxes, you end up with this sort of nest of things. And I'm using an old money demonstration here. I've got CD players there. So you've got a lot of CD players that are all connected to give you the telco functionality that you're looking for.
I still have that one.
You've got one of those CD players, Eric. Good for you. They might come back in, like record players, one day. Now, at Simwood, we've developed an IP-native, globally distributed core that's got all of our functionality in it under our own API with our own technology around it. And it's delivered IP-native and API first. So anybody can come in and use that functionality and start it up and stop it and get it on demand through this thing. We call it the potato because we've got diagrams that make it look like a potato, but it's actually our core network. And if CD players are the old analogy, I want you to think about the Spotify of carrier services. Imagine being connected to somewhere where you could get whichever service you wanted at the time you needed it and pay per use. So you don't even have to download the whole album. You can just stream the song you want, if you like. But just as importantly, you can access it in any way you choose. So maybe you want to access this via WhatsApp. Maybe you want to access it via SIP or PSTN. There's lots of different ways that we can do that. And here is the diagram that shows it. Now, we saw that quite a lot of people are using WhatsApp. WhatsApp is used by getting on for 3 billion people. And I just want to take a moment to just share something around this because it seems like WhatsApp might be just another integration. But if you think about the problems we currently have with robocallers and people spoofing their caller ID, that's a big problem in our industry, isn't it? And we've got things like stir, shaken, and other protocols and other regulatory things. But do you remember when you signed up for WhatsApp? You had to prove your ownership of that telephone number, didn't you? And so this has really leapfrogged that security piece. And so now, if you're an enterprise, wouldn't it be great if you could connect to people who you knew were already properly identified, who own that phone number, who are going to connect to you via their favorite communications app, the one they use to connect with all their friends and send messages to them. Imagine having that access to a telco-grade platform that can do conversational AI, that can connect you to the public switch telephone network or to Microsoft Teams or whatever it might be. And so you can see here or over there, we've got transcoding, recording, conversational AI, all the kind of things that you'd want inside a network, but we're connecting on multiple channels. And one of the things I'm going to demo in a minute is a WhatsApp integration too, because that's like the big news at the moment, getting WhatsApp into this core, the Simwood potato, if you like, so it can connect to all of the other different things that are there. In fact, I'm going to do a real-life demo right now. I always think with demos, it's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. So I'm going to try a demo with you here, and I'm going to actually demo 3 different things at once. I'm going to put WhatsApp here, and I've got it set up. I've called this demonstration WhatsApp Doc, because I've put together a conversational AI that does health services. And so if you check the messages, I'm just going to send it a quick message to say, I'm having breathing problems, because this is a health service demo that I put together. So, of course, WhatsApp, we can do messaging and we can do calls as well. And those calls can be directed in different ways. We can direct the call path in one way and the messaging in the other. This is coming through to a conversational AI. And can you see, this actually took me about 2 minutes to create this conversational AI. It's only pointed at nhs.uk and webmd.com. That's all it's pointed at. And I've just told it to answer health questions. And I'm going to say, look, I don't have time for a demo. What I want to do is speak to a doctor. So I'm going to put, can I speak to a doctor? Whoops, please. And watch what happens when I say that.
Go see the doctor.
You're going to see it's going to pop up and say, look, actually, well, you're already in WhatsApp. Just hit the call button in WhatsApp. So the messaging has been going to a conversational AI. Now, the doctor happens to work in an industry, in that health service industry, where they've got a lot of Microsoft Teams. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to place that call. Here we go. And it's going to come through on my Teams. You should see it, there it is. This is Microsoft Teams coming up. And so when I answer it like this, you'll see that this is my Teams, and we've got a voice path there. So this looks like a simple demo, but it's actually demonstrating 3 things. It's demonstrating our WhatsApp integration straight into the Simwood potato, the conversational AI that's addressable via text or voice. I could have directed the voice path to it as well, but I wanted to go direct to a doctor. I'm Dr. Duffer in this case. And then our Teams integration as well. So I'm going to hang up and come back to the very end of the presentation here. These things put together now allow the world's #1 consumer communications application to connect to the world's favorite business communications application, being Microsoft Teams, and none of that touched the public switch telephone network. It came directly through the Simwood potato, which is an offering that we can give to other people as well. Love to see you if you want to come and chat. If you want to test it out yourself, I've got the WhatsApp number that you can try it on. But for now, let me say it's been a pleasure talking to you, a pleasure explaining all of these integrations. But of course, the real pleasure comes when you put this stuff to use. Thank you very much.
Now, that was some action, yeah, before lunch. I love that. Any questions so far for Dr. Duffett?
Actually, I'm not even a nurse.
Are you a nurse? No comment. Thank you so much. Okay, no questions. Alrighty, so may I invite you to start with your conversation?
Sure, I think.
What do you want?
The clicker is just there. Yeah.
Thank you.
All set?
Yes, check.
Perfect.
Take it away.
Hi, everyone. Thank you again. I'd like to just quickly introduce myself again. I did that briefly before as well. I'm from SUBEX. I manage the global pre-sales and consulting practice for SUBEX for the billing solution portfolio. The topic of this panel discussion is actually very interesting. We're talking about the wholesale industry. And what I bring as an expertise in this particular discussion is to talk more on the AI part, and especially what value it adds on the billing operations, finance management part of it, right? Not just from an automation part of it view, but also the value addition into the whole process of it, right? Including fraud detection and prevention. So let me just start with this. Perfect. I just wanted to quickly introduce SUBEX as well. So we are a telecom AI company. We have been working with operators globally in various for various solutions, actually, from billing to business assurance, fraud management. These are some logos of our customers across all the regions. We have around 300 plus installations in 100 plus countries. We are actually recognized as part of the Gartner Magic Quadrant for business operations AI implementations. So this is just a quick view, right? If you need to speak to me, I'll show you at the end where to find me. But I'd like to start with what I actually wanted to cover as part of this keynote. What we did, based on our experience, we analyzed the whole flow of finance, billing, and operations, and we identified the problem statements in the wholesale industry, right, in that part of the process. We identified the areas where the most amount of expenditure is going into, right? How you can increase the margins, how you can increase the value for your business teams, your operation teams, for the whole process flow. So these are the 4 areas we identified where the AI can add the most amount of value, right? To start with, at least, right? If not last. So starting with billing verification and reconciliation, it is a process. It's a part of a process. If you speak to your finance teams, billing teams, it's very cumbersome. You have to go through a lot of manual activities, a lot of analysis if you identify any disputes or discrepancies, etc. And that's where we think that AI could play a bigger role. I would show you how as well in the coming slides. Then we have the report generation verification part. I think the end output of a wholesale billing or a wholesale partner management system is to have a good reporting output and an analytical view that you can consume to run your business, grow your business, and scale it as well, right? And having a chat GPT-like Gen AI assistant to help you with that would be something that can be of really, really good value, right? And that's, again, something that I would show you. We have revenue forecasting, simulation, and more analysis as well, again, from the business perspective to identify the revenue forecasts for the future, to the areas to identify as part of this growing industry, right? What are the areas where you don't want to invest, where you want to invest, and various other analytics as well is another area where AI can add a lot of value. And most importantly, the fraud detection and the prevention part. I think that's a key highlight in this industry, especially in the voice carrier side of the businesses, but now growing into now A2P. And I think David as well covered a bit why moving to WhatsApp-based integrations is also of good value because of all of this coming into the picture. But having the right fraud detection and prevention environment in place, which is AI-enabled, so that you can preemptively identify some of these scenarios and then stop them from happening so that you don't leak your money or result in disputes with your partners or, again, disrupt your customer experiences, right? So these are the 4 problem statements. And for this, we have few use cases in mind that we propose, and we are actually working on it at our Center of Excellence in Bangalore, our headquarters. Also, we are working on a few proof of concepts with tier 1 operators globally. So one of the first use cases is AI-powered SOP automation, which is coupled with robotic process automation as well. So this SOP automation is for your pre-bill check activities, for your finance activities. You go through a certain list of activities, right? A certain task SOP document that you have to do this first item, then the second one, the third one, and the fourth one, right? After that, if you identify any issue, then you have to go through certain steps again to resolve it. Imagine a Gen AI-based assistant where you just prompt, perform my SOP for running all those billing activities. It run through that. If it identifies an issue, it automatically tells you what is the root cause analysis and how you can correct it, right? And with the click of a button, it gets corrected. And if you speak to your teams, they would tell you that they go through a lot of hassle while working through this, right? Similarly, AI-powered OCR, very important for your contract assurances, invoice reconciliations, and a lot of other part, which I think everybody is aware of. I'm sure you're using as well. AI-powered reporting and insights, as well as AI-powered fraud detection. So in this diagram, you can see at what places offer wholesale billing or invoicing or finance process, these use cases can add a lot of value, right? To actually, I already have 5 minutes of time, so I just wanted to quickly summarize and show you something live in action as well, right? This is the environment. We actually have a demo instance. I didn't want to show you live, just a screenshot to give you the view of how it works, right? So imagine a fraud investigation. Your fraud analysts are actually working on an investigation. You found some Simbox fraud scenarios. There were actually some cases that were raised in your environment or of your solution. And you comment in a natural language, show fraud alarms for the Simbox fraud. It gives you all the three options of where the cases were raised or identified that there was a fraud in this, right? You just write, investigate this particular phone number. So as soon as you do, if you see on the right-hand side, there's a task list. So it's an agentic approach of AI, as we are aware. So it will go through all of these tasks individually, perform that analysis, and finally give you the output in a view, right? In this, we can see that it's already telling that we are investigating, and the final activity or the correlated information is available in a dashboard sort of way. So I think this is something that we wanted to talk about. I think there are other areas as well where it can add a lot of value, but we identified that these are some things that could, if you start using or if you could apply in your ecosystem, these AI use cases, they can add a lot of positive value. All right, so with that, I would like to conclude and hear the thoughts of the panelists as well on this discussion. If you want to meet us, we're at booth E65. Yeah. Thank you, Rick.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Well, let's see if there's an immediate question from the audience for you. Any? Except coffee, cell phones, pictures, you know, these kind of things, exactly. Okay, thank you so much, both of you gentlemen, for your interesting presentation. If there are no questions for now, then I would suggest we immediately go into, because we are running a little bit late on schedule, guys. So you are happy with this, right? No? Kidding. Okay, Mohammed, if I may start with you. You know, monetization of the network, and especially through the network APIs. What are we talking about, and what's the aim with? Is it only for the revenues, or what else do we have?
Yeah, so I think this is a really exciting area, actually, because you need to think about APIs in different contexts. So first context is, for example, network APIs, the location-based services, number validation. So there's like two kind of models. One where you're selling those, and the others where you're buying those, for example, for your enterprise customers. So there's a kind of different opportunities, one to monetize what you have, and the other opportunity to monetize, you know, other APIs. So I think that's quite an interesting area. The other interesting part of the APIs is front-ending to your customers. For example, we use it for, you know, order processing. So again, the order process, order to billing, that side of it's important as well. But again, from the wholesale point of view, we need to make sure that the solutions are fit for purpose. For example, in wholesale, we have one carrier, multiple carriers requesting quotations for the same location, for example. If you did look at your standard model, it would be like, oh, my pipeline is huge, but actually it's not. So it needs to be kind of customized, tailored for your own requirements. And then obviously the agentic APIs, and that's whole. So it's quite a vast area, and with quite a lot of potential in terms of monetization.
Okay. David?
Yeah, I was going to say there, but the traditional model used to be that you had to go through a carrier's network and have all your numbers hosted with them in order to use what they'd got.
Old school.
Yeah, and this could lead to carrier envy, couldn't it? Because you could look over and say, oh, that carrier over there has got Teams integration or whatever. And, you know, but I can't go with porting all of my numbers and all of that stuff. But I was just going to mention the advent of bring your own carrier. So where you can use other people's network resources while keeping all of your number ranges on your original home. So just throwing that out there as something that's changed in the industry.
Okay.
If I may
Sylvia?
add, we are talking about API monetization, but there is a critical topic related to it. It's a cultural shift as we speak. So, we were used to look at it as minutes and gigabyte and raw connectivity, say, whilst now we are moving to a completely different topic, which, the network operators, we needed to implement yesterday. So we are already late for the future because the demand from the enterprise, the hyperscales are there. We need to, we have regulators, we have operators' needs, and it's such a wide and interesting topic, and it's not just related to revenues. We are focusing on how can we make money today from it. But it's wider. So we are here, we are, partners, we are competitors because we offer all the same things, but we are also customers. So what do we expect from that? What type of intelligence we expect from that? So, that is food for thought, of course. And
That's why they invented sales, to do exactly say that, to try to sell something which you do not believe in, right? It happened.
Now, what I strongly believe is that the first steps for API to be monetized, you need to consider that as a product. So API, step one, it's product. And with that, it comes a different problematic that it's regulatory, first of all, and privacy, first of all. Secondly, those things come together. How you implement that? How far can you go? Europe is already pretty much ahead to that with the camera project, and GSMA, so we're already there. But, there is a lot to be discussed and a lot to consider, but definitely it's going to be a product where the key entry is going to be that transactional session. That's the entry point. So we move to transactional. And the big question for network operators is like, how are they willing to expose their network to API and to developers? Because, we are talking about the future, but at the end of the day, are they really going to expose their network to developers?
That's the challenge. We have some
The
operators.
challenge.
We have some operators over here. Paul, come in.
Yeah, there is an initiative under GSMA, the Open Gateway Initiative, which many operators are participating in. And I think David alluded earlier on that, ARPUs are going down or flat, or not increasing very much, but data consumption is increasing exponentially, so telcos need to find ways to make more money. And these network APIs are definitely a way to do that, but also can be a better user experience for certain use cases like authentication, for example. But I think one of the other areas that's really important for the industry is that there's collaboration, because the enterprises don't want a verification API from Oman Telecom only, or Omantel only, or Do, or Etisalat only. They want full country coverage or regional coverage so they can address the whole base. So I think that's a really important element as well. And I think the charging models, that's another interesting thing we can talk about, but maybe use case-based charging could be something that's interesting as well. But I think Kamara is something that's important. We've had APIs around for years. They've not been common amongst all the MNOs. I think this is their opportunity to do that, finally. And if they don't, hyperscalers will come along and fill the gap.
Absolutely. And they come with the flash, and we didn't see it coming again, right? Keep on dreaming. All right, Arjun, mentioning the AI and the powerful potential of it, and the challenges and the opportunities. Let me take you back a little bit. Can you again explain quickly what are the challenges, especially for the telco side, and how AI can revolutionize actually the network operations, the automatizations as well?
Absolutely. I think
Only 2 questions for you.
no problem. Thank you. I think the API point, monetization point was actually very right. But I'll not come to that. I'll come to the AI point first. I think for the network operations, there are a lot of pain areas where AI can add a lot of value, right? And I think we have to look at it from a perspective of, I think AI is actually in a pretty bad light right now, especially in organization and enterprises, but it's actually can be a very good tool to add a lot of value, especially right in automating decision making, or rather complementing what humans already do as part of their activities, right? If you see network authorization, like you mentioned, and other services as well, and especially those operational related activities or redundant activities in these that you usually do, right, is something where the AI can add a lot of value. And that's the problem area for telcos. It has been because the operating expenditures in that area has been very substantial, and I'm sure you would agree as well. So those are the few areas where it can usually add. But I think network API monetization point, I think if you are doing it, it's amazing. I'm bringing a technology provider point of view. We have customers who have started doing that, and they are seeing some very good potential out of it. But what you need to, I think, have ready is that in your ecosystem, you have a tech stack that's ready to be enabled with that network API. Yeah.
Okay, Sylvia?
It's going to be the future, right? The new connectivity, or we'll have AI implemented already. So we, as IDT, for example, we use it for, operational purposes, fraud detection, which is an interesting topic, by the way, because AI comes with great tools of benefits, but it's key for fraudster, right? Because, what happens when AI listens to your voice and it's able to replicate a whole completely conversation? AI itself will be not able to detect that fraud. So that is the question for all of us. How are we going to detect AI fraud produced by AI with AI?
That's why we need HI as well, like Yasser did in his
Exactly.
presentation yesterday evening at the gala dinner.
You cannot replace.
Intelligence.
I'm pleased to see you were paying attention to that, right? The human intelligence.
It's my job.
Yes, a couple of things. On the API front, the API that Simwood built, it's an API-first architecture, and it was actually less about revenue and more about putting our users in the driving seat so they can do anything they want at any time, 24/7, turn things on, turn things off on a per-use basis. But, of course, it does make things so much easier for their clients as well. And I agree that on the nuisance calling and fraud prevention, AI can be very, very helpful. Jumping in there as well. We perform 250 tests on a call as it comes into the network, just to make sure that everything's all right. And of course, AI helps you reduce the latency, because one of the things that we're all about is keeping latency down in these situations.
The reality is that the AI will run an incredibly huge amount of data that human brain cannot in a limited amount of time, but it will be given to a person, an engineer, possibly when it comes to network optimization, of course, and it will need to look at the data and make the decision. Because AI, it's its own worst enemy. So you need a human interaction, human intelligence, like.
I'm happy I'm in charge of the power, so let's see who wins, right? Anyway, Mohamed, what's your take on it?
The AI side of it, right?
Yep.
It's just moving so fast. I think the terminology is quite complex and vast. And I think it's a case of trying to get your head of it. When you hear terms like neo-cloud, all these new terms are coming up.
But we're good at this in our industry. Coming up with new things and new everything. We're good at that, right?
Yeah. So I think it's a case of trying to understand these and try to understand what they will drive. Because I think underlying is obviously the connectivity. So if we really understand the applications, we can then understand the connectivity piece underneath it. But also we need to think about as carriers is how you move up the value chain, because the connectivity piece is good, but we also need to think about the moving up the value chain, and also the different business models, regulatory environments. There's quite a lot of complexity and thoughts that need to kind of fit together for it to work really well.
Talking about business models, will it change? Do we need to adopt? Do we need to implement? Do we need to, invent new things, or we just go with the flow and see what happens? The normal operator style, right? What do you think?
I think.
Will you shake them up?
No, I think business model is something that's a decision for the operators. What we have seen that they are changing a little bit, right, on this part of the business especially. And it's getting very unique per operator and per agreement to agreement as well. Right, it's not very generic right now across, and new business models are also coming up. I mean, as complex as not just P cross Q, but even tier-based plans and a lot of other activities, tier-based discounts or volume-based, and especially usage-based as well. So it's definitely shaken up fully. And again, your technology and your solution should be ready to handle something like that. The complex models coming in.
Yeah, if I look at the messaging side of things, I would say pricing has been a challenge in some regions. When you talk about A2P messaging, not all messages deliver the same value. So we're seeing MNOs charging the same price for the same for any SMS message, depending on whether it's OTP or non-OTP messages. Why don't they introduce differentiated pricing? We're also seeing, even in this region, I did some checking, the average price for an SMS A2P is between 10 and 12 cents. According to Mobile Squared, that's a bit too high, and there are alternative channels, so the industry needs to be very careful.
But they don't read that report from...
They don't read it. Okay. But yeah, I think there's opportunities for optimization there, let's put it that way, and different pricing models to sustain their business. I mean, there's alternatives out there already doing it. WhatsApp for Business are already doing differentiated pricing. Telcos need to evolve as well to sustain their business in A2P messaging, I would say.
Correct?
Yeah,
Sorry, Dr. Buffett.
As I alluded to in the presentation, where we used to make money from transiting minutes, and the people that we were selling to were making money from transiting minutes. They might be hosted providers, large-scale enterprises or whatever. That is, it's not heading in the right direction in terms of the amount of traffic or the margin that's on it. And so value-added services, to me, is part of the solution to that. But I think we can also look at the different systems that we've got in place to allow us to give clean traffic, because there are lots of different models out there, aren't there? Some people are carrying lots of casino, lots of...
Yeah, but so many different people have a different definition of clean, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Let's start there.
yes, yeah, okay. But we as a wholesale provider, we do look after both our customers and the places where the traffic is going. So, I don't want to get too far into the definitions of clean, because that could take us our remaining time, couldn't it? But,
another 3-day conference, I think.
yes.
Okay. All right, guys. We covered a bit on the security. Did we cover enough on the security? Paul, what do you say? Is anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're focusing on A2P messaging monetization, but also security. And I'd say, I don't know whether you've heard of the Global Anti-Scam Alliance, but I think the cost of scams last year alone was in the region of 10 billion. I think I might have that right. But a third of that was coming from SMS scams, smishing attacks in SMS. And in this era, I'm staggered, I come from cybersecurity background, but, SMSs, we're still not protecting them. And anyway, we're addressing that. We're using AI, machine learning, and trying to stop smishing. It's really important. And yeah, certainly on the A2P side, to maintain trust in that channel and make it clean is really important.
Can I just make one quick point? Of course, this is where WhatsApp have sort of leapfrogged everybody because they've got built-in certainty of identity or at least ownership of a number.
Yeah, but then it's good that it's end-to-end encrypted, but no one can see if there's a smishing link in there. Only the end user, the recipient. So.
Yes, fair enough. But in terms of sending traffic out and knowing where it's coming from, where it's going, and getting it back and knowing who it's come from, yeah, indeed.
Alrighty, guys. Just looking at the watch and looking at the people for the next panel session, waiting already for more than 10 minutes. Let's wrap it up a little bit. Paul, if I may start with you, scoping a bit the future. What kind of latest developments do you see? What should we look out for? What's your take?
Caught me out there. That wasn't the question that was on here. But anyway, I think for network operators, it's more about delivering value. We've talked a lot about this. Connectivity is one thing, but you need to be adding additional capabilities and services on top, and maintaining trust is important here as well, and that's why security is important. And yeah, I think for me, network APIs is a very interesting area, but it needs to be executed properly in collaboration. And it's chicken and egg. You know, some operators think, oh, my competitor's doing APIs, I'm doing APIs. How do I differentiate? So they try and come up with a tweet. You know, we've got to all collaborate. Everyone's got to collaborate and align and be competitive on the proposition rather than the technology underneath.
Exactly. Thank you. Mo?
I mean, certainly from a UA perspective, I think certainly the future looks very bright. I mean, we have CapEx, good kind of deep pockets. The power is there as well.
Keep that thought with the deep pockets because we'll go to the bar later on. So.
Yeah. So, and we have obviously the power in terms of the AI for the future. And the right investments are being made. I mean, you can see in the UA investments are going. And the most important thing is the right environment is there to facilitate, this kind of growth.
The business sense.
The business sense. So I think, outlook is positive.
Okay, good. Sylvia, what is your takeaway for the audience?
No, the way I see it is that this is the right time for the operators to lead a new transformation in our market. So the reality is the network API is already there, it's existent, and our operators will take that home and will transform this into a revenue engine. That's for them to decide. They can either follow or lead. There is no alternative because the demand from the enterprises, the hyperscalers, it's there, and we are obliged to our customers base. And the world is quick. We wanted everything, we wanted yesterday. So, we need to change with it. And whoever takes the decision today is going to lead the next 10 years conversation on API network. Mark my word.
We'll mark her word, right?
Mark my word.
Arjun?
Absolutely, I agree. I think this is exactly the right time for telcos, operators, aggregators to get into that digital transformation era. Right, invest heavily on the AI front, and also that not to rely 100% on the AI. That HI quotient is very important, right, and at least to use it in a valuable way to reduce, again, the operations activities, the overheads that are there, right? To start with that and then expand it into other areas and fields which can add a lot more value than this. And by then, I think the AI would be much more mature. There would be no biases involved in the models, right? And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And that's right, whoever takes the first step, it's going to leap ahead 10 years.
Then move, I would say, not wait for the next step, just move and be part of it.
Absolutely.
Anyway, famous last words.
Yeah, I just wanted to introduce a third word. I had connectivity and functionality, and I think another important word is transparency because of the trust that's needed. And I just want to give you a very quick example. As you may know, some UK operators impose origin-based surcharges. So when traffic comes from certain regions, extra charges are imposed. Now, some carriers actually kind of make that a little bit opaque, and they look across and they say, oh, the biggest one is this much, so we're going to charge that for every single minute that transits, no matter where it goes, and we'll just pocket the difference. You know, it's like a revenue stream for them. But again, at Simwood, we are 100% transparent. We make no money on origin-based surcharges, and we can give people the resolution they need so that if it's going somewhere where there is no charge, there is no charge. You know, there's no opaqueness about it. So transparency, I think, is a key word.
Okay, thank you so much. So guys, we were quickly talking for the last hour about the global wholesale industry in the rapidly evolving digital transformation area. I would like to thank dearly Sylvia and the gentleman next to me. You can find them running around here for another day, this day. I wish you all the best for lunch after the next session. So please stay tuned here. And for now, we say ciao.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.